Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the last time I have to do this officially
Yay.
to the DECM Executive District Executive Committee meeting. And as always, please rename yourself properly, as is the custom. And I guess for next year, I will need to hand this slide deck template over to Maureen. Make sure we get it off of the D57 drive and put it somewhere else, so that way it doesn't get erased if we lose the D57 website. This schedule looks a little fuzzy, but that's because it's a little fuzzy. And the idea here is that we are going to go through the usual bits and pieces of the reporting in from the DECM trio, and then I'm going to give the preliminary list of the clubs that made outstanding from a few days ago. We have a number of thank yous to do, and then there is a lessons learned on leadership part for the back half of this, and I didn't actually fix the slides here, so don't mind that. Last licks, I was up till entirely too late in the morning with the important stuff, and the agenda is the last thing to fix. Moving on. One thing, the most important thing is for those of you who are area directors and division directors, thank you. We got the more than the 75% minimum required to qualify as a district for the year. 96% of you got your area visit reports in. There were ones that were done with 6 minutes to spare before the 10 o'clock deadline. But overall, everyone's done. And there are a few of you that said, I'm filing a report, but I need to do them in June. So hopefully you got those done as well, because you have been our eyes and ears this year into the clubs. And a club that looks good on paper isn't always the club that you see in person. And so the area visits are super important. And this time I actually managed to snag all of the area reports that people filed before the buttons went away. So I'm handing off a full set of area visit reports to next year's area directors and division directors in order for them to be able to do things on the right foot. So hopefully you guys put in the best report with the most accurate things possible, and that way they get a good picture. I know, for example, that one club that got exceptional is folding next year because the president reached out to me and told me that. But overall, hopefully for all of you who went and did club visits, you learned something, you met people, and you made some friends that will think fondly of you for next year. Because that's what I took away from being an area director and then a division director. And I have been asked to come and do the officer installation for one of the clubs at the end of this month. And I said, you have an incoming area director and division director that should be doing this. And if nothing else, you have the new district director, because there's an order to these things. But if not, I'm always good for going and socializing anyway. Because that's the real takeaway from being an area director, is that get outside your club, you learn what other people are doing, and you basically let us know how clubs are doing. It's about communication. There are 17 days left to achieve the final goal for District 57, and it's a long way to get there from here. There are 9 clubs that need to get up to their 8 memberships or better, of which 3 of them are probably not going to make it there because they have officially closed. One of them is in the process of being rescued, which Deborah may or may not talk about. And we are a bit short on payments. And so the one goal we're going to try to shoot for sure is our usual and that is distinguished clubs. I've been told by the region advisor that all these goals are possible with 3 weeks left to go, and certainly I know at least one club that has been pushing the envelope in terms of getting memberships, but regardless of which, we will do our best. And if you know people who have been sitting on the fence and your club needs the members, be it for a viability as a club in good standing, which is 8, or the level of distinguished, you might want to ask. They may not know. There is no harm in saying, are you interested? These are the clubs that are on the list of most likely to succeed, which means if you're on this list, you are either less than 2 members away from distinguished, or 1 goal away, or both. And yes, that is my own club at the top. We need 1 member or 1 DCP point. And the president has said, we can do this. And I jokingly said, please don't embarrass me. The rest of these clubs on this list, there are some nice surprises on here, Rocket Electric being one of them. They were thinking they needed to fold 2 years ago, and they have the opportunity to be select distinguished. All they need is a couple of members. And since SpaceX just went public a couple of days ago, maybe there's some people that are interested in joining the club. But anyway, these are the clubs that will probably make it. There's less than 18 of you, but there are a few that are a little further out of reach. It is possible. It is doable. It's just a matter of finding 3 members or more, or finding more than a couple of goals. Meanwhile, finish line. If you are not able to make distinguished in any way, we have the Outstanding Club Award for clubs that excelled, just not in the DCP point category necessarily. And originally I was going to have Dennis design the ribbon for this, but for obvious reasons, he's not doing that. So I have some work cut out for me. And I will be taking the final snapshot at the end of this month, because some of you may make it to distinguish before then. So accordingly, be aware that that is coming. And I'll try to get the order in right before the end of the month, before my credit card dies. Here are the clubs that actually made it. Distinguished clubs, these are the clubs that made 5 or 6 DCP points. And if you're on this list, well done.
Jeff, can I interject
Yes,
for just a moment?
of course.
Amador Valley Toastmasters has made distinguished for the first, I think, for the first time in years and years and years and years. So I'd like to send out a special shout out to them.
All right. I will be definitely this evening at the party having people who are in those clubs please stand up and so we can applaud for them. But I want to keep things under 5 minutes here. And Amador Valley, I met someone from them the other day at Top of the Hill.
Ah.
And it's certainly nice to see them get out of their comfort zone and make it distinguished. So I will definitely keep that in mind. Select distinguished. These are distinguished clubs. Some of these are the usual suspects. And of course, this is 7 or 8 DCP points. President's distinguished. The list gets bigger because these are overachievers, and I'm glad to see that a certain couple of clubs in there managed to find 10 members to get to President's distinguished because they had the points. This is 9 or 10, and if you have 10 but less than 25, you are President's distinguished. So if you're on this list and you're working on 25, like Pre-Art, who apparently did this last night, super late at night, then that'll show up by the end of the month. But the last category, these are inaugural medley distinguished clubs. These are the clubs that landed in the new category for the overachievers, 25 members and 10 DCP points, a perfect score. I'm pleased to see that we have 5.9999 of them right now. Again, the snapshot I took was 2 days ago, and congratulations. And I know that Toastmasters sends a ribbon and a certificate to all the clubs that made distinguished, and that'll be coming in July or August.
Yay, Star Search.
Star Search, yes. Star Search, I got to be a part of their open house a couple of months ago, and they are definitely worth a visit. So, my last slide is about transitions. That for next year, especially for people who are working with area directors or want to be one, the areas will be changed destination-wise. I'm hoping Maureen will talk about this later. District 57 will no longer exist, depending on whether your club is in a Division A, D, or C, or C. Sorry, A, C, D, but not C8, you're 205. If you're B and E, you're 206. And your area will almost definitely be changing. So keep an eye on that. The new dashboards will show this in mid to late July. So for purposes of your club, it'll be the same. For purposes of area directors and areas and where your club is, it'll be different. So this will be coming more handy when we do club contests. So the A35 contest is not your contest. That is a contest over in District 4. You'll probably be D something. Your club numbers are not changing. So when you do fill out your training lists, put out the same club number. And also, I am no longer taking District Bucks reimbursements from the club level, except in extreme circumstances. If you have something in the queue, we're still processing it. I think we cleared everything out that was filled in the last couple of days, but I haven't looked in the docs there too because of working on this. And also, if you're working on Distinguished Club stuff, the last day for that is June 30th at 10 o'clock in the evening because that's Toastmasters headquarters standard time. So VP Educations, please follow your levels by June 30th. And if you get it on June 30th at midnight, it may still go through, but the results will not show up until late July. And I will be watching, and basically what we'll do is we'll put the final lists on the websites for 205, 206, 57, because I don't think that's going away until after everything updates. And so therefore I would like to, 1 second, find that. Okay, here we go. So that is my last bit of transition. And I've got some thank yous to make. And I thought I put a picture on the slide, but I guess I didn't. I want to take a few moments to thank some folks who got us from where I felt like a district under siege. Oh, I do have pictures of this. District under siege, from chaos and ketchup, yes, the condiment, to juggling chainsaws. So to where we are with something that's approximating a really crazy house. So first I want to thank Sally Philbin, the immediate past district director, for having tea with me almost every week and reminding me of what needed to be done. And I'd say, you can't remind me of things I don't know about, but that's a this week problem. To Linda Patton, who would have been the district director, who kept me sane anyway when she didn't have to. For Ed and Bill and Michael Oser and Greg Scott, who helped me kit back together a business meeting with shoestrings and dental floss on very short notice. And also for the work that you did all year to turn District 57 and 205 and 206, and that's Sally as well. For Lisa, who had the habit of calling me at 6:30 in the morning Pacific and asking for stuff, including this morning. Who was always fond of making sure that we got the information out. For Daniel, who also called at 6:30 again in the morning, a lot of mornings, but at least he apologized. But he was always working on something new and different and reminding me of my own lesson of what's possible is not always what you think you could do, but what you try and do. Thank you to Daria, Aaron, Ray, and Jasmine, and too many area directors to name in a list for keeping the district together and under shifting and sometimes extenuating circumstances. For Kate, Hans, Tiffany, and Charles, who I got to delegate and mostly not worry about the contest and the conference until early May. And a word of thanks to Renee and Sheridith, who went to the conference site more often than I did and smoothed the path in all of us. And when I got there, the tablecloths were ready, and all we needed was Trish to bring in a ton of flowers and make us look good. The conference definitely went extremely well, and I should have talked about that today, but I think I talked about it in the newsletter for sure, and it was a great experience and a great send-off. To Winnie, who would call me while I was trying to do something else, including my actual job, and keeping the awards on track. Did you remember to order these yet? Are these spelled right? I would have dropped the ball. Okay. And for answering questions about how to fill out concurrent reports than I did on the level of being district director. For George, who kept the Zoom running, no matter how close to the deadline I asked, can I have a Zoom link? And he said, sure, here you go. It's the same one as last time. You're fine. For Kat, my accounting buddy, who didn't give up being finance manager despite being unexpectedly relocated across the country for the entire year, and being able to expedite everyone's concur request, including in the middle of the night. For Elliot, who taught me everything I needed to know about MailChimp, and for Wing for being my shadow editor. For Dennis, who got me into this mess in the first place by telling me I could do the job as district director a year earlier than I expected or wanted to. And he said, you'll be fine. You'll kick butt. We have different ideas about fine, my friend. But at least I survived. For Deborah, who I asked to fill in for Dennis on very short notice and acting like it's September instead of June. And last but not least, I want to thank Maureen for saying yes to being the PD on an even shorter notice without knowing what she was getting into. And not only that, but coming back for more as the incoming district director. In being district director, I didn't ever think I could do everything myself, no matter how hard it looked like I was trying to do so. There are other heroes on this list, but these were the ones that worked directly with me in some capacity this year. We built something better together, and you helped me not fail everyone. You all helped me lead up, so thank you. And now I'd like to pass things to Maureen.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Next slide. Next slide, please. Okay.
Hey, he did the thing.
Yes. As Jeff touched on earlier, as many of you know, I'm hoping everyone knows, that we are about to be completely split apart in District 57. 57's going away. And some of our divisions will merge into 205 with all of the current District 4. The rest of 57 will go into 206 with District 39 and one division of 33. And if I missed anything, I apologize on that. But what shows here on the list is we're talking about this. For the new 205, this will include all of the clubs in the current District 4, and in D57, Division A, Division C minus Area C8, and Division D. The Division A, B, and C in the new district will include all of the District 4 clubs that exist today, so it's San Francisco and the Peninsula. Division D, and this is where we're going to be confused in the current 57, Division D is actually our Division A, and the areas are going to be numbered. I'll explain the area numbering in a minute, but you can see it there. Division E will be the current Division D clubs with minor tweaks, and Division F will be the Division C clubs minus C8. The area numbering, and this to me is a brilliant idea. The way this is going to work is in Division A, all areas start with the first digit of 1. B, all the areas start with 2. C, they start with 3, D with 4, E with 5, and F with 6. The alignment is under review now. There may be some minor tweaking in a couple of areas, Division C specifically, and then Division D, and it has to do with clubs that are right on the edge of not necessarily surviving. If they survive, we may have to move things around to have enough clubs in the area or not have too many. So look for those changes, but the overall configuration will be correct. That said, for District 205, I'm still looking for area directors, and I'm going to go ahead and place a link in the chat to fill out any interest in that. And what that form asks you to indicate is your home club, which also gives us an idea of what division, what area you might be interested in taking. We don't want somebody who primarily lives in Fremont to be going to in-person clubs in San Francisco. We don't necessarily want to require that. So we want to be sure that you're going to a geographically reasonable location. Next slide, please. Thank you. Now, I don't have the full 206 information here because I haven't looked at what was submitted there. But as I mentioned, it's current District 39 and D57 Division B, Area C8 and Division E. And then there is one division from District 33. If you will be part of the new 206 and would like to volunteer for any positions, I've listed the trio names there, and I believe that we have 206 emails set up, and we'll confirm that as we go. But I believe they have a d206tm.org email, so it'd be dd, pqd, whatever, and you could get to the right people. Next slide. On to club officer training. There are a lot of changes coming, a lot of changes. Toastmasters International started on a program to upgrade club officer training because, as many of you know, if you've held officer roles for years and years, the training is exactly the same every time. And oh my gosh, if I see those slides one more time, I'm going to scream. We've all said this. So the old training focused on the roles and responsibilities, whether you went in round 1 this time of year or you went in round 2, January, February timeframe. One of the biggest changes is that round 1 is going to focus on your current club status, your club success plan, so that you get that club success plan on time, you know what it is, and you know how to put it together, how to build your team within your club, how to set your goals. Round 2, because now you've had a few months to work on these things, you're going to look at your current status. You're going to deal with problems that may have arisen. You're going to do case studies. You're going to start planning for your successors. And one of the new things is what's called a club success cycle. And it really has to do with how each of the officer roles are interconnected. So if you are the president, you do have a stake in what each of the other officer roles will do. And in every officer role along the way, you really should always be well aware and have your goals aligned. If you don't do that, then your club may run into some issues. Next slide. Thank you. This is just a highlight of what's changing. You've heard hints about this, that the new officer training requirements, a little bit longer than we've had in the past, just a hair. It's now between 3 hours and 45 minutes and 4 hours, depending on how well you do your breaks. So we're going to do the comments and the setup and the general session for 1 hour, which is all hands on deck. We have a break, and then we send people to the individual club officer breakout sessions. Because remember, in round 1, it's important that you learn every aspect of that role, how it applies to your club, and so on. Then we come back for a general session for 1 hour. That's what the new guidelines are. For the early club officer training rounds, the ones that we're doing early July, late June, there are probably some districts that will continue to use the old slides. Many districts are just embracing the changes right away. Why not? What we are doing for District 205 is we do have our TLI now scheduled for July 11th. I am in the process of making sure that this goes on all of the calendars, just because there is going to be a little bit of a ramp up going from D57 to 205/206, from 4 to 5, and so on. All the things that are changing July 1st. Because this is July 11th, we want to be sure that every single person who goes to whichever link they know to go to is going to find our TLI. So it will be on all of those calendars within the next few days. That's coming. And it's really to make sure that nobody misses out. Next slide, please. Now, my thank yous, and yes, you love the picture, right? It has been a wild, wild ride. And it started with the beginning of the year. I thought this was going to be my gap year. I was going to do a simple thing on the PR team, work on the D57 calendar, be an officer in my own club, and just do my own thing. I had no desire to do anything else. I was taking my year off. Well, that changed in August when I got a late night phone call from Jeff asking me to step in as PQD. And I asked him why and what was going on. He filled me in. And I said, let me think about this for just a little bit and I'll get back to you. And within a very short time, I accepted the role. Having missed the initial training for that role, having missed a couple of other things with the ramping up, I agreed to take it on anyway. And just like what Dennis said to Jeff, he said, oh, you can do this, Maureen. He knew that we could do it as a team. And that's exactly what we did. We started teaming right away. We worked together. Jeff helped me transition the PQD role because he was in the middle of parts of it before I had access. We got everything lined up and then we started going from there. And it went relatively well. Then mid-year training and getting all of our visit reports and all the different things that we did. The highlight of that first part of the year was Pathways Roadshow. We got to go visit clubs and talk about the Pathways changes that happened in October that sadly confused quite a few people because some of the approvals had changed and some of the requirements had changed. So that's my thank you to them for believing in me and allowing me to more or less ramp up within a reasonable amount of time and hit the ground running. My next set of thank yous truly is for Tiffany, Charles, Kate, and Hans, and actually Lisa for promoting everything, but for everybody involved in the conference. The conference did go extremely well, and it was a wonderful day, a fun day. And one of the things that we did is that the incoming trio for 205 and the incoming trio for 206, at least parts of them, attended our conference. And I, in turn, attended D39s. I attended D4s. The idea was to get us working as a team from day one. We've been working to build that. So I want to thank those people too for allowing me to go everywhere and meet everybody and do what we needed to do. And thank you again, like I said, for great contests all year, for all of the flexibility with everyone in the district, for making sure that we had great area contests, great division contests, and of course, culminating in the conference. But most of my thank yous really is for Sally always being there to help me. Linda Patton was helping me too. Everybody has been very supportive and wonderful, but my biggest thank you is to Jeff for believing in me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Moving on. Please welcome Deborah Wiener, our Action Club Growth Director.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So good morning, fellow Toastmasters and dignitaries, fellow district leaders and club officers. As D57, currently acting club growth director, I was offered this position when Dennis stepped down just about 4 months ago. And I was appointed by Dennis to be the person that opened or sponsored new clubs previously before he stepped down. And in the past, I had worked with Sally Philpin opening up new corporate and community clubs. So I felt like I had the experience to accept the offer, the position, and I'm really happy I did because I've gotten to be able to meet some new people. And I did have a few clubs in the works before I was given the position. BART, for one, was an example because I had met people from BART at another Toastmaster club in Oakland and was already talking to some people about opening a new club at BART, which I haven't given up on. It's just, I think it's something that the new D205 club growth director, I will be passing on that information to him, and I am in the works of connecting with him very soon. I wanted to just talk about how important club growth is, and it's really not just about sponsoring new clubs. It's about membership growth in your current club and, of course, retaining the members you already have. And the importance of doing that is to make sure that every guest feels welcome, and that each club has a responsibility to make sure that when a person joins, what are the reasons for them joining? What do they want to get out of the club? And of course, it's their responsibility too, but to accept any leadership roles that are offered to them, because Toastmasters is like getting an MBA. It's a place where you can have fun, meet new people, but also you can grow. And I know that I have, and I'm very happy to be a Toastmaster today, and I've been a member since 2009. There's a lot of roles that are, well, every officer role is important in retaining membership and growing clubs. But the VP of membership working with the president and all the officers in their club, just making sure that they welcome the guests and always invite them to join. Sometimes people think that when you invite a member to join on the first visit that it's being pushy, but I have never believed that to be true. I felt like, hey, if they don't ask me to join, maybe they don't like me, or, for some reason. So there's different perspectives about, getting new members. And another important aspect is succession planning, making sure that you train the person that's coming behind you instead of just offering them a password or binder or a few notes and wishing them, well, good luck. It's important to train the person so that they can do a good job. Also, club coach program. Now, I know that this year, Brendan Murphy has been the club coach director. And I talked to him about how there's a lot of clubs that resist club coaches coming into their clubs. And, maybe it's important for the next person who's in charge of that program, not that Brendan didn't, but just make sure that we let them know, hey, club coach is here to support you, and make sure that, we work with you and making sure that you have been doing everything right, not that what you have been doing wrong. We're here to help you and support you so you can keep your club going and grow. Another important aspect is the mentoring program we have. And of course, sponsoring new clubs, which requires a team. It's not something you can do alone. But I still have, 17 more days, so I haven't given up yet. Who knows? Maybe that trilogy over 55 community in Brentwood, maybe they just might call me back and we'll have a demo meeting. Just never know what we can do in 17 days. So I just want to say that I wish, our new District 205 the best, and it's going to be really fun working together, retaining members, strengthening existing clubs, and sponsoring new clubs too. So thank you all for doing everything you are doing to support our clubs, our members, and the future of District 205 and 206.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, let's see. Why is this not working? All right, so oops. Okay, so do this. The one official part of this meeting that is super important is that we did our mid-year audit, and I know it's May, but the auditing that we do for the budget part of 57 has to be done about a couple of months after the end of the year for the mid-year, because the Toastmasters mid-year is the end of the year calendar-wise, and the Toastmasters end of year is the middle of the year calendar-wise. Go figure. So essentially, this is mostly for Maureen, but also just for anyone else who is, for whatever reason, submitting any expenses. If the expense is over $500, we need to have pre-approval before we do it. And there's a lovely email chain you have to do. So you have to have it in writing by the district director, improving quality, and club growth director with the finance manager, depending if it's one of us doing it. So if you spend over $500 on something, before you spend the money, get permission first, because we have to have it in email chain, since that needs to be sent back to the audit committee at the end of the year. And I can go into a thing about how budgets work next year. Sometimes people are interested. I may put together a class for it. But we had a number of things, including our Zoom account, for example, that needed to have approvals written in advance. The other thing is that Toastmasters, and that's everyone who is a treasurer or anybody who has concurrent access, has to submit a valid receipt to obtain reimbursement. And the stuff that has to be in the receipt includes the vendor name and the address. It can't just be a nice little paper that says, hey, thanks for the money. An itemized list of what was purchased and where it was from with an amount. And the invoice total has to be on the Concur account the way it shows up there, with the exception of that if it overruns your district bucks allocation. So for example, if your club ran $329 and your club only had $250 allocated, you submit for $250, not $329. And all the information needs to be visible in the receipt. We had some people who sent receipts that couldn't be read or were missing. And credit card statements are not valid receipts because essentially it doesn't show what you charge or where or to who necessarily. I had to submit some itemized receipts for Amazon because I bought things for the conference, and those had to be sent to receipts. More detail is better, and not enough detail gets it bounced back. Most of the time. We kind of put some stuff through that was a little dubious, Kat and I, and we got dinged for it. So in the future, if it's for next year, submit receipts with as much detail as possible. And thank you for people who kept the receipts from months and months and months ago and still had them. Because otherwise it would have been a lot more trouble. And finally, and this will be in the trader training as well, when you are following those expense reports in Concur, the place to put it is incentives code 7082. Not whatever you put it in most cases, because district bucks are under incentives. Everything else is allocated differently. But I just had to change things in the final submission when I caught it. And that was the audit committee report. We passed. And the next hurdle is the final report for the year, which will be next year. But if you're a club officer listening to this right now, you'll be seeing a survey later on, and we are still recording. Yes. Okay. So make sure to keep that on there. And that is something that the presidents and VPs will need to approve as part of quorum for the report for the end of the year. Other than that, that is the media audit report. Moving on. Realignment updates. Maureen already covered that. These were the clubs that are going to be in Division D. We don't. The numbers are not correct yet, but they'll be done next year. It's just a review. Here's Division D clubs. I think there may be some realignments, as Maureen mentioned. These are the Division E clubs, which used to be Division D. These are the Division F clubs, which are Division C. And these are old slides from last April, so things may have changed slightly, but this is a general concept. Again, remember, your division is changing, and if your club is here, then you are 205. I did not have the 206 one as well, but that being said, let's move on to Lisa Thompson and Hans for the last public relations report for 2025 and 2026.
And Jeff, can you press function F5?
Okay, 1 second.
Just to make sure the images show up.
Does this look good?
Cool. That sounds good.
Okay.
Great. So it's my responsibility to do this today, although I'd really like to thank Hans for the slides. So as far as the agenda, we're going to talk about our accomplishments, then give appreciation to everyone who has helped, and then talk about transitioning forward. Next. So we're very proud of everything that we were able to accomplish. And starting with the website that I know when I came in to the position was having serious issues. Fortunately, I had met Sherlando, and Sherlando did a fabulous job with redoing the website and also redoing the website again to form the 205 and 206 websites. Next. So it was amazing to be able to lead this radio campaign. Day one, I was told we had money that had to be spent on outside marketing. And Fortunately, Somi got in touch with Seba Shah at Radio Zindagi, and it was such a fabulous experience working with them and using radio in order to promote our district. We ended up having 13 interviews done, mostly with the Indian population from the district, and so many of those were so brilliantly done. They can be found on YouTube, they can be found on the website, and it was just a fabulous experience. We had at least 6 ads a day. Some days they gave us extra. They are still running our ads, and we have a wrap up with Seba Shah this week to talk about maybe doing some kind of a continuation depending upon budget. And she was delightful to work with, and it was just brilliantly handled. And again, thank you to my team, and especially to Hans for helping so much with this radio campaign. Next. So we've raised the bar technically, which is kind of funny when you think about it, because I have no tech skills. And one of the things that Sally had considered in giving me this position that I really wanted was the fact that I have no tech skills. So I needed a strong team in order to get people that had the tech skills. What I have is the vision. And my vision was to share communication throughout the district, to make sure what was going on was known not just at the trio level, not just at the trio plus level, but that every member had the opportunity to know what was going on. The YouTube was handled insightfully by Hans, and the newsletter last year by Levon, this year by Shalini. The podcast, we had 2 different teams. This year, George and Donna have done an amazing job, and they'll be continuing to do podcasts, but not here. And we created, one of the ideas that I had coming in was that I wanted VPPRs to be empowered as VPPR ambassadors. And again, Shalini ran with that and offered so many wonderful workshops to our VPPRs so that they could get the job done. Several clubs took advantage of the incentive program. Many of them have done short form videos as a result of the workshops that we've provided. And this year, so last year we had Rose Kurland for our regional advisor, and she was wonderful. And this year they told her and all of the other regional advisors that nobody needed to work with the VPPRs and that the PRMs didn't really mean much. And so we formed a group on WhatsApp called DPRM and a little S, because there's so many wonderful district PRMs meeting together on a regular basis to get the word out to each other. We even have a site for posting flyers and getting help from each other to improve those flyers. And it's just been a wonderful learning experience. Next. So I really want to thank all of our team members, especially Gerlando for the website, Maureen for calendar, and we appreciate you staying on all year in spite of your many other responsibilities, especially as PQD, to Derek for doing website and social media boosting and strategies, to Wing as our MailChimp, to Shalini for the newsletter and so much more, including doing the ambassador program, to Anjana for the graphic design and especially the cover for the conference, to Somi for PR incentives tracking, and also for introducing us to Radio Zindagi, to Kenya, who was following in Shree's footsteps from last year, and the 2 of them will be available for a single meeting I'm not sure if Kenya's going to be available for more than that, but Shri is offered to do one meeting with the incoming team to talk about meetup and how that can be managed for 205 and 206. Ananda's been helpful with Facebook. Hans has been helpful with everything. So without Hans, you would not have had a PR team. I was ready to resign, as many of you know, and Hans convinced me to stay, refused the title of PRM because he was already doing chief judge. But in reality, if you're thanking anybody for PR, please think of Hans first, because without him, we would not be here. And to Donna and George for podcasting. Next. We'd also, in addition, like to thank people that may not have been considered a real part of our team, but believe me, they've been at every meeting and they're doing so much work for the district. And that includes Elliot as our digital assets manager. And I always like to say he does a damn good job. To George Marshall for as Zooms are, without whom we would not have the Zoom links that we need, and to Jeff for everything. We tried replacing, I know Jeff's biggest complaint is that we never found another digest manager. There was no way to replace Derek and he wouldn't do it again. And so Jeff, it's been yours and we really appreciate you doing that. And there's no way we could have done this radio campaign without you, Jeff. So thank you all. This has been a very incredible experience. Next. Okay, so we're going to transition. And I was appointed as the chair of the communications team in the fall by Michael Ozier. And I've been working with the team for 205 and for 206. And the website is in the construction process. And the social media meetup again and YouTube are being handled. There is work to do. Next. And we're going to be delightfully passing the baton to Tiffany Dawn Jones in 205 and to Susan Santra in 206. If they want my help, I am available until June 30th, and then I have other responsibilities. As many of you know, I am leaving the district. I will not be staying part of 205. I will not be staying part of 206. I will be in 101 and in 83, where I will be 3rd Division Director, and I'm looking forward to that experience. That's my home club, and my understanding is that they want me to work locally. So I will be on both coasts, but I will not be going further with any of you on this journey. So if you want me, join CREART, that is now a Smedley Club. And I think that's my final slide. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you, Lisa, and congratulations on being division director over in 101 or 83, you said?
83.
83. All right.
Right.
So this is where I have today's educational thoughts, and this is what I call lessons in leadership. The prompt questions that were given to our division directors and our trio were, what are 1 to 3 things you know now that you would tell yourself from a year ago that you wish you could have known when you got started? Or what are 2 ways that you got stronger, better, and wiser this year as a leader is this year in the position you were in? Or if you could teach next year's area directors or your successor position 1 or 2 things, what is the most important thing that you would teach them first? And I'm going to switch things up since you've heard the trio and trio plus talking a little bit. And I'm going to start with the division directors. So Daniel, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, let me continue. you go. Daniel, enlighten
Yeah.
us.
What I learned and what I wish I could teach the incoming district leaders. Is that the question? I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Something that I definitely learned this year was working as part of a team. When I was an area director, while many of you and especially Sally would say I did fine, I really did not feel I did a good job as an area director because I tried to get a new club off the ground and I brought that mentality in wanting to get a new club off the ground when I became a division director. But I figured out my biggest mistake was going at it all alone. And it's not a case of me running the demo teams by myself. I had people to help, but I didn't have anyone to help me organize. I didn't have anyone else to lead alongside me. I thought that I was the only one who could keep everything under control, which was wrong. There are times that I fell apart and I had people from my team be there to support me. So I'd say the biggest lesson that I learned this year is give people a chance to impress you. And the worst case scenario is, hey, if you are relying on yourself from the very beginning, rely on yourself again. And just make sure you give everybody a chance to try to impress you and work alongside you. You'll be surprised with what others can contribute. Sorry, a bit late in the night for me. So that might have come off a little bit loopier than expected, but what I would love to tell anyone taking up a district leadership position next year is have fun. I really enjoyed this year as a division director. I made a lot of new friends. I've bugged a lot of people, as most of you in this meeting would know, since you are the people that I called and bugged. So yeah, give people an opportunity and have fun. Back to you, Jeff.
All right. Thank you very much, Daniel. Next up is Daria. Daria, are you still there? I see Daria's iPhone on here at least.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, there you are. Hello.
Hi. I can agree with what was just said, that I also did enjoy being a division director. I think it helped me grow in some ways, specifically in time management, because it seems like this projects that we do as division directors are not complex, but they do require time, and it cannot be done all at once overnight. It has to be planned ahead, especially when it comes to organizing a contest or even visiting clubs. And you cannot really do it all at last minute, obviously. And that's what I, for myself, learned how to plan ahead of time and allow more time for these things. And that's what I would also suggest to new area directors or division directors, is to always allow a specific amount of time for things, so that you will not do it last minute and not struggle with deadlines. That's what I learned for myself, and it really helped me.
All right, thank you very much, Daria.
Thank you.
Okay, I do not see Ray here for Division C. So I will move to Division D. Aaron.
Yes, thank you. So a lot of learning to be step up at the Division D director. It's learning from different folks from different area director. To be joy with the team at the current, continuing to make the progress, to be moved forward to the goal of the division goal, to be complete their training, and then to be strong support to make all the area director to go to club visit and to be mentor for their club to be successful. So this is the only thing I have been learned, to speak up with them, set up the meeting team at the division. So I'm learning a lot of things from them. So as Danielle, right? And then Dia have been said. So being a division director, not being worked by yourself, that's the no-no. So as a team, teamwork is the teamwork. So we work together. Without a team, we cannot succeed. This is called a challenge to be continue all the membership, grow with all the club, include with division, include with the district. So that reason, so we always focus to maintain the strength of the club success, to be support with the structure of the club. So we always step in there and asking them any kind of thing that you need to support. We will be there for you. And just call us whenever we are available. Just contact us. Just cold call if I do. We don't mind about that. But thank you for all the leadership team and then all the division director, include with Jeff, have been helping me. I talked with Jeff several times regarding that. And then Maureen also as well to help me to set up the contact why I were away and not be joining with the area director for those contact before the family matter on that time. And now I could like to say thank you for all your support. Like we are building stronger club together, a stronger leader together, and stronger division together to be support for our district. But thank you. I could like to turn back to you. Thank you.
And basically, I know you had a lot of things going on this year, and that's one of the big lessons is life comes at you fast sometimes. And as Daniel said, sometimes it's about asking for help. As Dario said, sometimes it's about making sure you don't wait to the last minute to ask for help and do it early when you can. So I would like to briefly open the floor if there are any of the area directors who would like something to share. As I know that there are some of you here. Before I turn things over to the TRIO extended members, any area directors want to speak up? Or if you want to think about it and I'll come back to you, just raise your hand. But if not, I will hand things over to, Deborah, I'm coming back to you. Don't worry. I'm going backwards up the chain because I'm being weird like that. So I'm going to go with Hans as chief judge. Anything you wanted to share, lessons learned from the contest? Did we lose Hans?
Oh, sorry. I've got stuff stuffed in my mouth. Yeah, that's a tough one.
I'm going to come back to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Lisa, keep it brief. Lessons learned.
How brief do you want it?
2 minutes, table topic style.
Okay, perfect. So it's been a great experience. And I would say that for the incoming TRIO and the incoming TRIO Plus, the most important thing is team building. There's no way I could have done this alone. And what I learned this year instead of, well, as opposed to last year, is that it really took one key person to be working side by side with me in addition to all the people that had all the roles. And without Hans, there, as I said, there's no way I could have done this. So I think if you have, as a division director, an assistant division director, even as a district director, to have one key person that's just there to help you out with whatever you need, so that if you're not available, they can take the role. And then that's the one thing. And then the second thing is how to build a team. I know when Maureen sadly lost the CGD to Dennis, I called her immediately and I said how sorry I was that she lost. What would she like to do on my team? What are her goals for this year? And that's when she took calendar and she kept it all year. And the same with everyone else. Phone calls really work. Texting really works. Emails don't. Nobody responds to them. Putting it in a newsletter doesn't even work. It's fine for padding the way, but after that, ask every single person you meet, what is it you're doing? What are your goals? What would you like to do? And how can you do that as part of my team? And that's worked miraculously for me, and I hope that it works for the rest of you. Back to you, Jeff.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. Hans, you ready?
Yes.
All right.
As all of you know, the chief judge deals with many different rules. And my lesson learned there regarding contest rules is to never assume. Never assume that people remember a rule that was given to them, and never assume that they have taken it, that they're going to remember it all the way through the contest season. So you have to hit people with multiple channels of information, and you have to express willingness to guide them constantly throughout the way, because you don't want to get in a situation at the last minute where someone has a question about the rules or just, sidesteps them altogether. So we are in a volunteer organization, which means that you cannot expect everyone to pay ultimate attention to everything that has been said in a meeting. And that's why you have to constantly hit them multiple times every single month up to the end of the season. So that is my lesson learned there.
All right. Thank you very much, Hans. Ask early, ask often. Sally, can I put you on the spot as IPDD?
Yes, thank you, Jeff. I think that I learned kind of a conglomeration of what a number of other people have said. I have this past year just made myself available to people, and that was my lesson learned. I had a great time. I was very, very busy, but a couple of things I was in charge of, but mostly I wasn't in charge of anything. I just did one-offs. I was judge, I was contest chair, I was mentor. I just did things throughout the year, and I totally enjoyed that as a different approach to leadership. So I would recommend that people, while you're building your teams, that you're also looking for mentors and that you're offering yourself as a mentor, because you build relationships that way, you build trust that way. I think that's what I learned most this year.
All right, and thank you for doing that. And thank you for being everywhere I need you to be. All right, going up the chain, Deborah, as acting club growth director, any lessons learned in the short time I had you here?
Well, I've learned through Toastmasters to always just say yes. But there is, again, listening to everyone else comment, you need someone to work with besides you. And I was handed a position originally by Dennis, but I had no one to work with me. And so, and I have in the past also not learned, and I learned a lot this year about, I'll just ask early and ask often, ask for help. Something I'm still learning to do, because I've in the past, not just with Toastmasters, been given a position with no guidance, and then I kind of learn along the way, but it's so much better to just ask for help. So asking is something that I have learned and I'm still learning to do. But it turned out to be you, Jeff, that was the person that felt like it was my person walking alongside me. I know I probably didn't even reach out to you as much, but it turns out there's many more people that were taking up your time. But you really, thank you for all your guidance. So yes, and communicate. Now, thank you, Lisa, for all your valuable information about how to communicate. That's another lessons I need to learn, is how to communicate. Email doesn't always work, or voicemails. So thank you. Much more to learn, and I'm really happy to, be for the roles I've been given this year.
All right. Thank you very much, Deborah. Maureen.
Let's see. Great questions. Yes, what do I wish I had known and what have I learned? Well, I too have learned to ask for help earlier than I do. I do ask for help, but sometimes I try to give myself enough time to thoroughly do what I need to do on my own. Sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't work as well. So I learned to do that a little bit earlier. That's number one. Number two, I have had a great year. I learned everything so quickly and just picked up pretty quickly and just continue to move forward. So I'm looking forward to my year as district director. I've learned a ton, and I am so eternally grateful that I will have Jeff as my immediate past district director and Nadine as another immediate past district director. And of course, I know Sally will be there for me. So I have a lot of people there available and able to help. Thank you so much.
All right. And I will give anyone else who would like to speak up one last chance. If you have a lesson learned that you want to share today, now's the time. Show me a hand or hold your peace. I see. No, okay, never mind. That's not a hand from somebody. That's just a floating hand. In that case, I will share the lesson that I learned. And that is, if you heard me 2 years ago as division director, division A, this might sound slightly familiar to you. But one of the things about leadership is that there's a space where you go, I have to do what now? I have that many responsibilities? If I had known about what I had to do, maybe I would have said no. And I originally said no because I didn't want to do this. But somewhere between then and now, I got from, I have to do this, looking at all the deadlines and all the requirements, all the paperwork and all the email that came in, got from, I have to do this to, I get to do this. Toastmasters is about giving you the ability to be a leader. It teaches you skills, not so much with the instruction books, although there is the leadership handbook, but also just from the experience, from asking people who've done it before, how did you do this? And saying, that's cool, I want to do that too, or I don't like that. I'd rather do something else. But somewhere between being terrified of getting up in front of people and saying, I have to talk, I have to put together the DECM, got to put the slide decks, I get to do this. I get to be the person who sets what the lesson for the day is. I get to set the theme. I get to ask people, what are you bringing today? What would you like to talk about? As Lisa said, what are your skills? What are your specialties? What are things you want to share? And so this year, all of our DECMs were about some aspect of leadership, some aspect of learning that we learned. And so all of us got to do something different. We got to do something that meant something to other people. We got to lead in small ways and in big ways. We got to step in and be the hero when the moment needed it. And so for all the times you thought, I had to do this, I've got to do this. No, it's, I got to do something impressive. I got to do something that was out of my comfort zone. I got to do something that was not something I ever expected to do when I started the year. And everyone here who did that has grown as a person. So thank you for getting to do things for us this year. And that is the lesson in leadership for me. Remember that the next leadership thing you do, it's not about volunteering because someone tells you. It's not about checking the boxes. It's about, what do you get to do as a leader that the person before you didn't get to do because they didn't have the time or the ideas? What are you doing next year? And I hope you'll find the leadership thing in you that you get to do the thing that you like to do and that you want to do. Okay, I'm going to open up the floor for any Q&A from anything we talked about today. Questions, comments, clarification that are needed. Is everything clear for next year? Okay,
It's
and I see
probably
nothing
clear
in,
as mud, right?
yes? Oh, pardon?
I said it's probably feeling clear as mud for next year.
Oh, yes.
We'll be fine. There's going to be a lot of email, lots of changes coming. Just stay tuned for more. And if you really do get confused about where in the world you are, you can always reach out to me. I will figure out where you belong. Okay? I've agreed to do that.
All right. In that case, any other thoughts, comments open for Q&A? I see what's the, okay, updated calendar, but the TLI. The TLI is July 11th, correct?
Correct. And it is not on the calendar, but it is in progress. Look for it to be on all of the calendars in the next few days.
I
Okay.
do know, sorry, I do know when it is. As area director, I'm waiting until it's ready to tell the clubs so that they can actually take action when they see my notification.
Okay,
So,
Renee,
yeah.
I will have it on the D57 calendar likely tomorrow because we have our event this afternoon. It'll likely be tomorrow. It's almost ready to submit. So
Okay.
that's where that one is. And again, it's already on part of the D4 calendar. We're working to get it. That will migrate it to 205 and we're working to get it on 206. So it's coming. It's
Okay.
just
I know
taking a
we've
lot
had-
of different people doing it.
Yeah, sorry. I know we've had email correspondence, Maureen, and I just want to, rather than send you another email, ask you if I know there's some question about training credit and wondering if you'll be able to figure that out before tomorrow or by tomorrow when you make the registration available
I
everywhere.
am working to do that. And for those who aren't aware, I learned yesterday, along with Renee, that District 4 requires officers to go to multiple trainings to cover multiple officer roles. And in 57, we have never done that. The D4 response was that's according to Toastmasters International. I don't think that's the case. And I really want to investigate that before I overrule District 4.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I was ready to send an email to another response, which is I offered to train for presidents, but that's not the role that I'm going to take this coming year. So that
Right.
means I don't want to commit myself to training presidents when I need to attend 2 other trainings.
Right.
So
And that's
that's
the Renee, I've been thinking about this all night,
I'll bet.
trying to figure out what to do here. So Ed, Sally, and all my other wonderful past district leaders, are you aware of that rule?
I was not. That's something
I
different.
wasn't either. I was shocked.
I am
Shocked.
I am aware of the
District 57,
custom.
when I
Oh,
first
so
was an
go ahead.
officer, sorry, Ed, and you're probably going to say the same thing. When I was first an officer, and then I became 2 different positions, I did have to train separately
Right.
in District 57, but that was probably 25 years ago or
Oh,
whatever.
and
24.
this is where my question lies. So Ed, what is the history of this?
Renee keyed up the discussion pretty well. I think it's custom, not rule, and we will look this up. And I believe that what District 57 has done, that is one training for all offices for multiple officers, is fine. But of course, District 4's policy is also fine. That so I will look it up for you.
Please do. And I didn't mean to interrupt, but my suggestion would probably be, because it sounds like it differs between districts, I would prefer to do it the way we have been doing it, with the following exception. If you hold multiple officer roles, attend the training for the role you have not done before, right? If you've been treasurer 5 times and you're suddenly in a 6th club or a 2nd club and you're going to be the president, go to president's training. That's one you haven't done. But if you have like 4 different clubs where you have one officer role, you go once. But if you have 2 officer roles, like I said, attend the one that you don't know well, the one that is new to you, right? And maybe you do one in round 1, you do another officer role in round 2, and you get both. But half of the ones that have multiple roles and multiple clubs and everybody, aren't those also the ones who do all the trainings and all the makeup sessions? They actually go to all the roles anyway. They do.
Well
Yes,
said.
and the new training emphasizes all 7 roles, as you know. I don't know if we're doing the new training, but if you study the new training, they talk about all 7 roles in every single officer training. And now I'll be quiet.
And I think that makes the case for allowing credit for multiple roles. That right there, right?
Maureen,
Yes.
advice I got from Sally last year. At the end of the day, you, as the district director, you get to make the final decision.
And I can override Nadine and tell her no. But I do want to emphasize, if go to the training with the role that is newest to you, and then we'll get credit for both. I want to do that, because what I don't want to do is say, I've been treasurer 5 times and I'm VP of membership for the first time. I'm just going to go to treasurer training because it's easy and I can sleep through it, right? I don't want people doing that. I don't. I want you to get something out of it.
Yeah, Maureen, I think what you're suggesting is something that at least I would naturally do. I would want to attend the role that I've not filled before. And then also I want to acknowledge that Lisa's got her hand up if she wanted to say something.
I'm about to call her in a second. All right, Lisa, what you got?
Yeah, so there's a 7-1 training on the 25th in District 101. You can go to their website to register. They do suggest that it's for people that have multiple roles that they have held before. But if you do the 7-1, it covers all 7 roles.
Yeah, but the problem is the new program, they're making us do something new, which is probably why they're requiring this. So stay tuned, and that we'll get the official word when we get it. It sounds like stuff is in flux. Okay. Tyree.
I'm really just going, please call on George. I want to hear from his wisdom. He's been around. He's been doing this for a while. So I yield my time to George Marshall.
All right, George.
Tyree, and I want to respond. Go ahead. Maureen mentioned custom. You know, I've been observing District 57 for 23 years now, and I'm by no means the most senior person here. It always depended on what the district director thought ought to happen. Some district directors, I will not name any names because I love them all, had a narrower view of how people should get trained. That they're very insistent on kind of what TI now says is, you want to get the credit, you go to that session period. There are others that had the perspective that is frankly the more common custom recently, which is, okay, if we can just get you to come to training, you're going to benefit. You know, go to some session. Maureen suggested about the one you get the most out of it is a great one. So I hope TI is not listening, but they come out with lots of rules that we're supposed to follow. But I believe we are also asked to exercise some leadership and some judgment. And there may be a middle ground here somewhere.
There is. And like I said, I will get my new trio to get on board with my idea, which is what I just said. Once I confirm from Ed that that's okay with the higher ups, right? I don't want to step on anybody's toes with the new training that we're supposed to change this. I didn't see anything in it that said we had to.
And really, when I was doing training more often, and when I was planning to, training is about what you get out of it, not from the slides itself, but the learning that goes with it. So however we convey what's in the slides is the most important part. And Tyree, do you have something else to add here?
Yes, but
okay.
in addendum to what you just shared and George, I would say not just what the training is, but what are the results. I think that you will see after each term, maybe who succeeds you, Maureen, is if this type of training really makes effective officers. And that's what the bottom line really is. If it's worth people's time and they are effectively trained and they act effectively, then I think that helps set your policy.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Tyree. Any last comments, questions before I go to the final word? If not, then when I started this year, I was the program quality director, and my tagline was lean into learning. And wrapping up, bookend thing, these are the things that I've learned. Life is about change. And change is something that I like to say, there are two types of change. The change that you choose for yourself and the change that you have to react to when something changes around you. If you can choose change for yourself more than you have to react to change, you're in better control of your life. I also learned that not everyone wants change. I ran on a slogan of the 5 words that I hate the most are, we've always done it that way. And I hated the fact that there were a number of times this year that those words came out of my mouth. But sometimes working with what works is important, but also being open to change is important. I also learned that it's okay to ask for help. My email mailbox is insane right now. I will get back to people who have mailed me in the past 2 weeks that I haven't responded to. Hopefully it's not too late for some of them. But every week in the past 3 weeks, there's been stuff on fire, including for my day job. And sometimes I did stuff at 2 o'clock in the morning for babysitting a Visa lab in India. Sometimes it was working on the newsletter. Sometimes it was doing things that were district related. But at the end of the day, I asked for help. And being someone who's raised to be too proud to ask for help, learning that this year was the most important thing. And so getting by with a little help from my friends, and the Toastmasters are in there. And for those of you who don't recognize this, this is one of my favorite movies as a kid. It's The Goonies. A bunch of people who think they're about to lose their house, going on an adventure to find treasure. And the thing I started in the beginning of the year from trio training was this treasure map of things I wanted to do as PQD, and discovering that, as the cliche goes, the treasure really are the friends that we made along the way. But some folks brought the map, others brought courage, or the brains of the operation, or a heart to care about people who, admittedly, I was worried to give up on. And at the end of it all, it's definitely been a ride, as Maureen said. Getting as many people, another year of learning, another year of sharing stories, experiences, expertise. That was the biggest and best part of the success that we did this year. Even if we don't make Distinguished this year, I'm glad I got to listen to so many more of your stories and your speeches, and got to meet so many more of you this year. Some people I met in person for the first time. And for the penultimate time, and for anyone who isn't coming to the party tonight, thank you for being here for all of us this year. And for those people who have left us for whatever reasons, I hope that wherever you go next, you'll keep learning. And for all of you, keep learning up. And that is my mic drop for 2026 for the DECMs. I'll see some of you at the party tonight, and I have things to bring. So the award ceremony will be there, and this is just before the award ceremony. We will not be doing installations, as if you read the newsletter, because that's for next year, since I'm not allowed to do that. But see you tonight, and as Maureen said, we have some tickets left. As soon as we hit 45, then we're definitely out. Any last thoughts? Sally, is that your hand up?
No, sorry.
All right, in that case, meeting adjourned. Do the division directors who are still here want to hold meeting rooms or not? If not, I will let everyone go.
See you tonight,
See you
all.
this afternoon.